And I think particularly as our people here, they're an awful lot of them travel from overseas. So if you come from Wales, come from England, Isle of Man, or Scotland, they've come even up the country, Northern Ireland, they've come from long distance to get here. But there's an awful lot of things could have happened to get here. And I think that's where your platform comes in. Maybe explain a little bit about that first, please.
Yeah, so I suppose the key thing is that...
You're right.
Can you hear me? So the key thing is that, like, often when you go on motoring adventures, you end up missing an awful lot of what actually is around you. And I suppose the kind of initial thing for that, if you're talking about that specific kind of idea, it happened, say, down when I was visiting Italy, or kind of the real home of motorsport down around Italy. And all of a sudden, you miss that, okay, you go on this turn off here, and you've got Ferrari Museum, you've got the Ducati Museum, you've got all these different things, and you could miss them in a shot if you didn't know. And actually, you have to do quite a high level of research to actually find out what these places are there.
I suppose it's a bit like when you come here to Clonakilty, and as motoring enthusiasts, this town is steeped in rally history, steeped in motorsport history. But 5 miles up the road, birthplace of Henry Ford, and probably the Ford Escort, like any other brand of the Ford marks, will be one of the most popular marks on the rally this weekend. But people that probably don't know this area don't know that this is Henry Ford country, and that's part of your website to identify the attendance at the rally and the attendance at venues like the Henry Ford Tavern and Henry Ford's birthplace out the road.
Yeah, I mean the key is that, like, tying in that community, and there's incredible local knowledge in each location, and if you apply all that local knowledge into the platform, then that's where you get the real value. You have people coming from all over then, and they can say, right, this is here. It would make my weekend so much better if I actually knew what this was, and that it's around.
It's always something that you could be, for example, talking to Tourism Ireland about and creating itineraries in any given country in the world, but itineraries with an automotive, motorsporting, classic car team.
Yes, and I suppose the key thing about the technology that I'm developing is it's an AI road trip planner, and it also acts as an AI suggester. So I suppose it has multiple different uses, but I suppose I look at through my background through the motorsport use, but it has all sorts of different applications through Tourism Ireland as well. But I mean, the idea is that you literally turn on your phone and the AI will suggest things that you would potentially like to do, but it's all tailored for that motorsport enthusiast.
You mentioned your motorsport background, quite an interesting story in that in itself. Grew up here just on the east side of town, family steeped in business in the town. Your first memories are of Dennis Cronin and Tony O'Sullivan competing in this rally in the early 2000s. That's spurred an interest in motorsport. It led to a degree in motorsport engineering, a stint in M-Sport, and so on. Tell us a little bit about how you kind of left Clonakilty and ended up in Cumbria. That's a good yarn in itself.
Yeah, so I suppose it kind of all started really with a passion for Subarus when I was a child, and basically just seemed like Dennis Cronin, and I was a huge Peter Solberg fan as well. So of course then that instantly made me a Subaru enthusiast. But so I suppose that then sort of informed my career choices, and when I was filling out the forms for the leaving cert and all that, I just didn't see anything that really looked like it was for me.
Is there anyone here ready for the leaving cert? This is the man to talk to. You can get a job in rallying. So I managed to find this motorsport engineering course in London, and that basically opened my world up to the world of motorsport. And ultimately, I suppose it's been an almighty adventure in the last 10, 11 years. It's taken me from, Ring to Coffs Harbour in Australia, right at the landing, right into the bushfires. And I was there in 2019 when they cancelled the rally. But I mean, I suppose it started in Kingston University. I got a placement with Total Porsche, so I don't know if any of you are familiar with the 911 that John Coyne would have been parading around a couple of years ago, but I would have been studying all with John. And then I moved on to M-Sport when I graduated, and I did 2 years there, kind of with the test team and then with the rally team as well. What time did you work with Peter when you were in M-Sport?
So I joined just as OGA won his World Championship, so I did Rally GP, where we won, and he made an absolute mess of his gearbox and we had to change it. So we did that, and then we had Elvin and Timo Sullivan and Gus Greensmith after that, and I suppose I left just before Loeb got in there. Ultimately, I suppose it was the year before Loeb, basically.
fantastic experience too, of course, like working at a World Rally Championship team. You'll hear a bit more from John Armstrong in a minute, who's embedded in that team as well. But there's always been a great Irish affinity with export, and both sides of the Irish Sea. There's always a lot of top quality Ford rally cars here. There's always a lot of Irish engineers working there as well.
Absolutely, and I mean there's a man who lives up by who was born up by the rugby club at Platt. So I mean he's running AP, ART, rally team now, but I mean he would have been, I suppose, leaving M Sport when I was kind of just starting. But I mean, like, you know, anybody who's met Adam knows how knowledgeable he is and what sort of operation he runs up there. But like, you know, that is the level. You know, you can, and I suppose that's if I'm talking to anybody who's interested in going to this as a career, you can go from Clonakilty and be successful in this, and just go for it. If you're passionate about it, that'll take it pretty far.
And Tom Gahan, I suppose, is another man that says he's running Keep Cronin out this weekend, but huge history of M Sport as well.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and like, you know, I think the links are endless there really with M Sport, and yeah, and like it just spawned so many things after moving into engineering roles and everything as well, you know, afterwards.
And then your career took a slightly different turn.
Yes, yeah.
And you ended up in County Wicklow.
Yeah.
Now, not many people in this room probably know this, but I'll let Peter explain it better. But there's a place in County Wicklow that converts classic cars, Porsches, Ferraris, the likes, into electric vehicles. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah. So I suppose they're predominantly doing Land Rovers now. It's Ava Electrify or Cool Planet electric cars as they're kind of known now. But they retrofit classic vehicles to electric powertrains. So you take kind of a lot of the time you prioritise vehicles that are sort of on the way out anyway, and you basically give them a new lease of life with these electric powertrains.
And somewhere in the electric vehicle world, you got the notion of Tigre Motorsport. So it takes us back to the birth of Tigre Motorsport, and I think it kind of has more bearing on the conversation now when you explain you've travelled the world, you've travelled through various different engineering levels, and that's really where the idea came from, because as you're travelling the world, you're realising there's more happening left and right of me, and you needed to kind of streamline this information supply.
Yes, yeah, and I think the ultimate thing about it, if I was to say, you know, why join the platform, ultimately it's been born purely out of passion, and now it's all my frustrations from travelling, and never was that more prevalent when I was doing a trip to Scotland a couple of years ago, and we went on this big road trip around from Edinburgh to the Isle of Skye and all of those places, and there was an unbelievable amount of tools used in that trip and research to try and get the route right, to make sure we didn't end up in the wrong places. But we still, even after all of that work, so I would say we probably used Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze, TripAdvisor, Booking.com, Airbnb, and it just frustrated the hell out of me. So in essence, what I wanted to do is distill that into one platform, distill all those frustrations into one platform, and ultimately, when we were there, so we did it in an Aston Martin and 2 Porsches, and we ended up on the, I don't know if anybody's been around the kind of Highland Council Road in South Scotland, but if you go to Scotland and you see a road, a Highland Council sign, just avoid it, because it's absolutely not maintained at all. But again, you don't know until you go, until you nearly bust a tire.
So the whole thing is based on knowledge, but you can't have the knowledge of the whole world, so that's why you're kind of bringing in the social media element of it and getting users to contribute their local information as well.
Yes, absolutely, and I mean, I never was that more prevalent than yourself, Sean. I mean, I don't know, Sean is a bit like an encyclopedia on his own, to be fair, when it comes to rallying and carrying. So yeah, I mean, it's about bringing the local knowledge onto the platform, and that's where we get the real value. So tying in motorsport enthusiasts from all over.
Very good. Just finally, I'm just going to bring your attention to the sign over here at the far side. It's Tigre Motorsport. There is a QR code on it. Do scan it. Do sign up for the website. He's a local man here from Clonakilty. The brainchild of this new platform really started at the West Cork Rally. It's Peter Regan from just out the road. Well done. Great to see this. We wish you all the success with it. We all know that we put this in here, guys. So give him a support. Give him a like if he needs to get the platform.